emergency. She has got assault police marker.
Vehicle stop.
Get it off! Get it off! Give me your hands!
On the floor now!
North Yorkshire's traffic cops.
Crash, 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 crash. 140 mile an hour. How stupid are you?
Driving down crime in England's largest county.
Don't lie to me.
Stone.
Crash.
Across 3,000 square miles.
Your vehicle's been stolen. Fire an ambulance heading towards.
Dealing with danger on the roads.
What the bloody hell are you doing?
Male is trapped in the vehicle upside down.
Under pressure.
Go over there and I will speak to you.
Come on, mate, talk to us.
Out! You're under arrest. Do not move!
And at risk.
Tell me what I can't see!
Right, you're under arrest. Cut up! Right, you've had enough!
That's serious organised crime level.
No strikes, mate. You're going to go to prison.
Around every corner,
He's going to kill somebody.
Why haven't you stopped?
there's a new challenge for the traffic cops.
Show me your hands! Show me your hands!
Coming up,
Looks an horrific injury.
bad accidents changing lives.
Right, shut. Nobody's going to move.
A trucker in a life-threatening crash.
They're just trying to get him out. They're just cutting the windscreen out. Air ambulance are here.
A pedestrian caught in a blind spot.
His foot obviously bent straight out. He's got a gash to the top of his head.
And a motorcyclist hit on the hard shoulder.
I just wanted to find out why he's coming here to the station and got to there. Make sure he hadn't blacked out or anything.
Police emergency. There's a crash. Is anyone injured? Okay, where is it? On the A64. Okay, whereabouts? Okay. We'll get police on the way.
Across the UK, someone is seriously injured or killed on our roads every 22 minutes.
Really tough doing this job. You know, we get sent to things that people run a million miles from.
It's just after midday on Friday afternoon.
The car here is mine. Right? That is yours. Do what you want over there.
Traffic cops Rich Clark and Craig Hanna are on patrol.
This is the biggest county in the country. This is the main route through. If you want to go anywhere, you've got to use this road.
We're just getting a report of a two-vehicle RTC on the A64. One person is severely injured.
On the road.
We have got fire and ambulance heading towards.
So we're just on his way to what's sounding like a fatal RTC. Initial reports are there's a motorcyclist laid on the road.
Westbound. Ambulance not on scene yet.
Coming into the back of the standing traffic now, which I would expect. So, problem with this road is as well there's no hard shoulder, so you're literally having to fight your way down the middle. Got a fire engine in front, look, can see. Should not be shut.
Well, they know the crack, don't they? Should we go in front?
Whilst the casualty is receiving urgent care from an off-duty doctor, Rich speaks to a witness.
Basically, the motorcyclist is stationary in traffic, and the Ford Rangers hit him while he's stationary as he's just getting off the bike, apparently.
The motorcyclist has got an horrific leg injury. He's in immense pain and lots of blood loss.
Is there any intention to close the road?
Yeah, can shut it if you want.
So I'm now thinking close the lane 2, because loss of blood and life don't usually go hand in hand. Lose too much and it's game over.
Can you just hold this for me, sir?
Yeah, no problem.
About 10 minutes?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Right, shut. Nobody's going to move, so you don't need to bother with that. I've shut it, so you're all right.
You can feel this. Feel that, yeah? I'm going to pinch your little finger on your other arm, okay? I'm not going to move your arm. Tell me if you can feel it.
You can feel that?
There's a good potential that the air ambulance is coming to this, so I'm going to need the eastbound carriageway shut a good half a mile from the location of the bump. Have we got anybody who can come out of TAD and put us a closure on?
While they wait for an ambulance,
Is there any dash coming your car, mate?
Rich and the team investigate the cause of the accident.
We need to investigate these collisions to find out what's gone wrong. Is it speed or drink? These are life-changing injuries, and we want to get to the bottom of why this has happened.
So is this how you found everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, what's your recollection of the driver with the orange vest on down there?
He was outside the vehicle. Basically, I just wanted to make sure he was all right, to find out why, because obviously you can see the time marks, why he's coming here, hit him station and got to there, make sure he hadn't blacked out or anything. Said he hadn't blacked out.
That vehicle there, for some reason, has hit what would appear to be a stationary motorcyclist.
The motorcyclist was struck whilst waiting in the lay-by to the side of the A64.
If you play Spot the difference is this near side pannier is completely missing. I would suggest that's first point of impact around that back corner. It's just obliterated it. All down there, look.
First job for traffic cop Mark Davey is to question the driver.
Where's he from? Local. I've bagged him, and that was 0. Started work at R5 this morning.
He's explained that he's just driving down in lane 1. There'd been a big bang, and he's looked back and seen that there was a motorcyclist on the road and his bike there. And at first said that he thought, there was bits of debris and he thought it was from his van and that he'd caught something. So it's really worrying that he's come down here, dual carriageway, and he's come round and he's managed to wipe a motorcyclist out that he doesn't actually even know that he's done. It's scary, really. So breathalyse him, drugs wipe, just to make sure that there's nothing, say, evidential that we're going to miss from him there.
Time is of the essence to get the injured person to hospital quick sticks. We've got both sides of a major arterial route closed. We're coming under pressure already from Highways Agency. They're wanting to get the roads running. There's a certain period, if you've got the road shut for so long, cabinet ministers get involved and start ringing up the force that are dealing with it and say, when's it opening? But ultimately, traffic cop will decide this road ain't running anywhere while there's a helicopter there.
I know I'm going to upset a lot of people, but I'm not here to make friends with them. I'm here to look after this guy and get him the best, fastest first aid we can get.
As an air ambulance arrives, the motorcyclist is stable enough to go by road.
He's going to go by land, which is really good news. Get this ambulance out of the way and we'll start piecing the scene together once everybody's gone. East can go and 1 lane of west. Now we've got some room to manoeuvre and everybody's disappearing to the sunset. We're going to start looking for some physical marks that may tell a little tale or a story. Trying to work out exactly where the bike was at the point of impact. It's just a case of looking. That will relate to somebody on the bike, so that's interesting to us. We hit him there. So that's where it all starts, isn't it? And somewhere on the bike there'll be a mark that marries up with that. There's got to be some black paint somewhere, hasn't there?
and he drifted coming down there. And he's not swerved to avoid the trees. There's no skids coming down here, other than is that potentially across here when he's come off the verge.
The driver's alcohol and drug tests are clear, so for now, he's not being arrested.
I'm going to make you over there, mate. Stand on that side, and then when Craig comes around, he's going to whip you up. And then we'll come and have a chat tomorrow. We'll give you a ring later, and we'll organise to come and meet us, either at Taddy or York, yeah?
So we've seized his phones off of him. He's got 2 phones. One of them was being used as a sat-nav at the time. You know, he's shown us his call history. It doesn't appear that he was on any calls at the time. However, when we get them analysed, it'll tell us for certain. And then we need to rule out that he wasn't playing around with his other phone while he's driving along. Has he fallen asleep? Because he's come round, you know, a natural bend in the road, and the angle that he's gone off at is almost like he's fallen asleep, wiped this motorcyclist out, and then gone towards the hedges, which would then probably explain why he didn't see him. Because if he's fast asleep or just, you know, nodding dog as he's come round, he isn't going to realise that he's hit someone until, you know, it's happened. The motorcyclist, because he's on a bike, he's so vulnerable, and, you know, it's metal onto skin. It's only going to end one way.
It's life-changing injuries for him. It's also life-changing circumstances for the pickup driver. His interview has been arranged where he'll be spoken to on tape under caution.
So, you know, we're trying to get things back to normality now. We've got the eastbound carriageway running, westbound we've got one going. We've got the pickups out of the ditch waiting to be recovered. We've gathered all his evidence. The ultimate news is this guy's not going to lose his life, which is, you know, it's what we all want, don't we? You want to go out in the morning and come back home.
Coming up, there's an update on the bike rider.
There's still a chance he might lose his right leg.
And a pedestrian and a truck collide.
Vehicle's possibly less than seen and the gentleman's got serious bleeding. VIP escort.
Something important?
No, I think it'll be training.
There are over 200 serious and fatal accidents in North Yorkshire every year. Finding out who or what is to blame is the job of traffic cops like Ryan Lythe and Sergeant Leanne Anderson.
A large cause of road traffic collisions on our roads is the Fatal 5, which is careless and inconsiderate driving, driving whilst using mobile phones, so distracted driving, drivers without seat belts, driving at excessive speed, and the final one is impaired driving, so that's through drink and drugs, and that's a big one.
We're just getting out at RT scene at the moment. It's a vehicle that's gone into a pedestrian. Conscious and breathing at this time, ambulance are en route.
Yeah, I've just heard that we're in Filey. We'll set off. We've potentially got a serious RTC in Pickering. The goods vehicle's struck an elderly gentleman who's got a head injury and still laid on the ground. And the ETA for the ambulance at the moment is 40 minutes, 40 minutes. Oh, I hate this junction. North Yorkshire, it's such a large area. 6,000 miles of road, so if you ask for an ambulance it can be travelling from 20, 30, 40 miles away. Even on blue lights, they can only get through traffic so quick. And it's really worrying because we have a degree of ability and training in terms of first aid and care at the roadside, but we can't treat everything. Scrummy 1655, XN.
Good afternoon, go ahead.
Joe, it's a serious RTC, goods vehicle versus elderly male with head injury. Vehicle's possibly less than seen and the gentleman's got serious bleeding. He's 83, laid in the road. Down here somewhere. That's it. Stay at 6.
the moment, speaking to the ambulance crew, we've got a suspected broken hip. His foot is obviously bent straight out. We believe it's either dislocated or he's got a broken, fractured ankle.
Yeah.
He's got a gash to the top of his head. It's not any life-threatening or any life-changing injuries so far.
How old is he?
He's born 1936.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that his...
That's his wife with the grey coat on there.
Do you want to go and have a word with driver?
So basically, I was loading up, so I put a pallet on, and we sheeted the side of the curtain up, and then we drove forwards, and then slightly to the left, and as I'm going up, I looked on my blind side, on my right-hand side, and noticed there was a chap laid on the floor. So then I jumped out, run across to the bottom to go and make sure he was all right. Got some blood coming out the top of his head. Run inside, go and call the paramedics and all the rest of it, and they came racing down. That's what much as we know.
We call them road traffic collisions because there's always a cause. We have a duty to investigate, to find out the cause of a collision, and also to give answers to the injured people and the families of injured people. Were you on opposite sides of the road from each other? What's your husband?
Over there.
What's your husband called?
I was sat in the car, comes across to go to...
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, and you
the
didn't
next
see
thing
anything
on the floor. We were just coming to go here.
So he's only just got out and come across the road.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did you see the truck at all then, or not?
I'd have to think that one out.
No.
No, I can't.
No. From what I understand, there's been quite a large HGV truck parked outside the premises here that's finished a delivery and then been getting ready to set off. And at the same time, a gentleman's parked his car over the other side of the road, and it appears that he's got out of his car to cross to the same side where the truck is, and there has been a coming together, although there's no direct witnesses at the moment, so we're just making some inquiries to try and firm up those facts or see if there's anything else that's been involved, really.
So because you've been involved in a road traffic collision, it gives me a power to request one or more preliminary samples from you. I know you've already done a breath test with my colleague. I'm just going to ask you to provide me with a sample of saliva.
Yep, no problem at all.
You happy with that?
Yeah, it's not a problem.
While Ryan waits for the results of the drug and alcohol test, Leanne continues the investigation.
Well, if there's no direct witnesses, we need to do a trawl of the street for the CCTV cameras that we can see. If it's on there, we'll find it.
One of the businesses nearby has some CCTV.
So this is just leading up to it. There's a blue car just pulled up, so I don't know if
that's his car, yeah.
That's the man just walking in front.
Yeah. See him walking across there. Oh, it's not very nice, is it?
Yeah.
Not entirely sure how he's not ended up underneath the truck, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's quite a scary piece of footage. He's had a really, really lucky escape.
When it comes home tonight, that's up to a doctor to decide. It depends what his injuries are and whether he needs to have any operations or anything. So I can't answer that one.
Okay.
Which hospital is he going to?
Scarborough.
Scarborough, lovely.
Yeah.
It's fine. We'll pop in later on and get an update from him.
All right.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
All right, you're
Cheers. So the chap was breathalyzed and drug wiped, and both were negative. So we're happy that at this stage that isn't a factor.
Recovery.
How tall is supposed?
How tall?
Yeah, how is he? How tall is he supposed to be? Do you know?
How tall?
Yeah.
In height?
Yeah. Because it's relevant depending on how visible he is to somebody that's up in a truck. Do you know what I mean? So if he's like 5'2",
well,
it'd be less visible than somebody that's Chris's height. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He won't be quite as tall as you even.
Is he not? Right. Okay.
I think he's about 5'6"
okay.
or 7.
Yeah. All right. Okay, that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the gentleman to turn the truck round and park it just on the curb here in a similar fashion to where it was parked down there. You get it. You get in, yeah, and just have a look. One of my colleagues is going to sit in the driver's seat and the other one of my colleagues is going to walk across the road, and they're both similar height to the driver and the injured pedestrian, just so that we can get an idea of whether or not he would have been visible at that height and angle where the truck was parked before the driver set off. So it's sort of a bit of a mini reconstruction. No chance at all. Just shout at what point Ryan disappears out of your view. So walk slowly, and when I do that, you stop. Right, okay. Okay, yeah.
As soon as he got to right up against the passenger side of the cab, he was gone. There's no way I could have seen him if he walked underneath the cab. So, yeah, we're totally blind spot.
80% of serious accidents that happen near a junction are caused by driver blind spots.
You can go now, and we'll probably contact you tomorrow to arrange to come and interview you. We'll just get your full version of events once we've viewed your dash cam footage, and we've got some footage from the premises down there to have a look at properly. So, all right. Any questions?
No, I don't think so.
All right. You've got to look at what are the possibilities here. Who's done what? How have they come together? The HGV driver, you know that they're a professional driver, and there's lots of observations and checks that they need to do before they move such a large vehicle off from the roadside. You have to approach it with a bit of an open mind.
The traffic cops work around the clock to prevent accidents and to understand what causes them. After the serious motorbike collision on the hard shoulder of the A64, Rich Clark and Mark Davey are furthering their investigation.
When we got back to the police station, we've looked at the incident log, and there's a couple of people phoned in and said to the police, listen, I've seen this accident, but I didn't stop. I didn't think it was safe to stop. So all those people have been contacted.
How is it? Yeah, he's not great. There's still a chance he might lose his right leg.
The rider of the Harley Davidson has gone through numerous surgical procedures to try and save his leg.
This is Anna, this is my wife.
Hi, Anna.
We're driving down the A64, noticed the motorcyclist in the lay-by. It was parked possibly halfway down or near the end of the lay-by. He was off his bike, he was stood at the side of his bike. There was a pickup truck at the side of me. My wife suddenly said, where's this bloke going? And he slowly drifted off and he hit the motorcyclist and then careered off into the hedge and stopped in the hedge. But by this time we were in the fast lane ready to overtake this guy, so there's no way I could stop because there was a vehicle behind me. I just felt it important that what we'd witnessed, we had to report it as soon as we got back. Because if it had drifted the other way, they'd probably whacked us out. So, yeah, we knew it was serious when it happened. Yeah, we just can't believe the guy survived. So
it's hard recounting it. Not as hard as that man's.
Yeah, exactly. He's going through a lot more into.
See you later.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye now. Bye-bye. Lots of people don't want to get involved because they think it's going to cause them problems. If you don't get involved, if you've seen something, you could be the crucial link and that could actually bring someone to justice.
Coming up, new footage emerges of the pensioner struck by an HGV.
He's climbed up as it's wobbling and sat down. 3 seconds.
No chance.
3 seconds he sets off.
And a lorry driver in a life-threatening crash.
It's what, 6 foot drop that he's had down to the floor from his driver's seat? That's quite a fall.
I
always try and have a quick look in the cars as I drive past them, see if anyone's on the phone or no seatbelt or something. You're driving a weapon, and that's dangerous, so people like that need to be taken off the road.
In the south of the county, PC Mike Rowan is 6 hours into a day shift.
Extends for all available West Side units.
20 miles east of Leeds, there's reports of an accident. It's just one of almost 100 that involve injuries every month in North Yorkshire.
Yeah, I've popped you on to just at junction 34 of the M62. It's an overturned lorry. I believe that the driver is trapped and he's got a head injury.
10-4, that's monitored. We are currently on our way to a serious RTC on the M62 junction 34. It's been reported that a lorry has overturned on a roundabout. The lorry driver is trapped, and we don't know the outcome of his injuries yet. They're big vehicles and they can cause a lot of damage. Plus, you never know what they're carrying. You don't know, it might be hazardous material or something, so we've got to treat it with the utmost priority, get there as quick as we can.
More often than not, it's the person who's sat behind the wheel who have made a mistake. But my first priority now is to try and save lives and help people.
What's the verdict so far?
They're just trying to get him out, but they're just cutting the windscreen out. Air ambulance are here.
Right. Oh, right, okay. He's got suspected spinal neck injuries, so we're having to treat it with utmost precaution.
We're trying to find out who he is.
Having to go and knock on the door of the next of kin. That is always at the forefront of my mind and what I'm trying to prevent.
XN from 465. Can I give you some details that we found from some transport paperwork, just for transport manager and their emergency contact?
Ready, steady, lift.
I've gone to crashes before when all kinds of things have come out of the back of a lorry, but this is the first time I've ever gone to one where it's just a load of carrots. I certainly wouldn't have wanted to have been on my bike at the side of it. You can see from the marks on the road that this lorry has come round and roundabout from this direction. We think he's probably taken that corner too tight and that's caused him to lose his balance. The scratch marks here indicating where the lorry started to topple over. And just having a very quick look underneath, the inside lane of the roundabout is being closed for roadworks at the moment, and there's actually a traffic cone that's been obliterated underneath the truck. So it's not even worth thinking about what if some workmen had been on site during this time, done a little bit more investigation work. We found that the seatbelt, which hasn't been touched by any of the emergency services, is currently in a stowed position. So that indicates that he probably hasn't been wearing it at the time. And as you can see, the driver's seat's up here, but he's actually ended up down here. There's obviously quite a lot of damage and obviously blood on the floor there. It's nearly about 6 foot drop that he's had down to the floor from his driver's seat. That's quite a fall.
It amazes me that people still choose not to wear a seatbelt. It's so simple, just a click.
In the last 10 years, over 2,000 deaths and serious injuries have occurred on UK roads due to someone not wearing a seatbelt.
Although the drivers managed to escape with injuries that aren't as serious as we first thought, if he'd been wearing his seatbelt, then he might have been walking away rather than having to go in an air ambulance and get flown to hospital. So those seatbelts are there to save lives, prevent yourself from sustaining injury, so wear them.
Those carrots are off to Spain.
All right.
Because nobody in the UK is eating carrots. It's 2.5 grams worth of carrots. We're going to Nottingham to be washed, and then they're going to Spain for consumption.
Got some air miles, those carrots in the end, haven't they? The size of some of the carrots are absolutely massive, very impressive.
I grew them.
You grew them?
I grew them, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a good season for him, to be fair.
Has it? Too many cooks. This is the first bit of manual labour he's ever done. Worst thing is, I was doing this at home. A lot of digging yesterday. Yeah, so I had my 8-mile walk and then I did this.
With the clean-up underway, Mike needs to investigate the possible causes of the accident.
There's no driver card in there, so it raises questions as to what the driver's been doing. So a tachograph is there to record vehicle movement to ensure they're not breaching driving hours.
If they're not recording, then that's a serious issue. Driver's hours are extremely important because it ensures that the drivers of these huge 44-ton lorries are not driving tired. If they fall asleep at the wheel, they're going to cause a huge amount of damage.
Just very simply not using a tachograph at all when you should be, that's an offence on its own. But then it opens up a whole other avenues as to what other things he might have been doing as well. We are investigating several different traffic offences. Obviously, we're looking at a careless driving element. We're also looking at the fact that he didn't have his tachograph installed. He'll be interviewed very soon, and obviously we'll be looking at any offences that he might be committed.
While Mike continues his investigation, 50 miles northeast near Scarborough.
I was just making contact with you and just touching base and just seeing how he was, making sure he was all right, and also making sure you were all right, because it's obviously quite traumatic for you to see as well, isn't it?
Traffic cops Ryan Lythe
Right.
and Sergeant Leanne Anderson are checking in with the wife of a man struck by an HGV the day before.
But they took him down to Hull this afternoon?
No, there isn't, no.
Not yet. So is he going to have surgery on his hip, I'm guessing?
I mean,
Supposed
the key thing was the
Oh, bless
it's
him.
the ones that have been taken out.
What I'll do is I'll give you a ring next week, just see how he is next week, and then once he's out of hospital, I'll make an appointment just to come see him and just see how he is and have a chat with him about stuff. But there's no urgency in that. There's no urgency at all. You take care. No worries. No worries. Bye.
The only footage they have is the CCTV from a nearby business.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the best footage, like high quality to be able to see, but... So that's our victim's car.
Yeah.
Here he comes.
Oh, so here's his car.
Pretty much stops, and then he's... Looks like he's straight out, because he's... You know, there he is, he's just appeared. He's sort of shuffling across the road, isn't he?
Yeah.
Straight across the front of the truck.
Oh.
How close is that? You can actually see his shadow.
Yeah. How has he not gone under that?
I wonder if he has, you know. You know, like gone partly under it, but missed the wheels. How is he still alive? Timing on it. Split seconds of difference between life and death. So this is his dash cam parked up. Obviously it's taken from the front bottom of the dashboard, so it's not the same angle that he's got the view out of the window.
Leanne now has the dash cam footage from the driver's lorry.
If you see the wobble, that's when he gets in. Listen. Bangs the door, coughs.
Oh, yeah.
And he sets off.
See the top of his head,
That's it, and he's gone. He's climbed up as it's wobbling, he's sat down, he's shut the door and he's coughed, and then he's literally started and gone, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Watch at the bottom of the screen here, and that time. So he's in. 4:56, 4:57. 3 seconds.
No chance.
3 seconds he sets off.
But surely as a HGV driver, you would make sure you checked, knowing that you've got all those blind spots on your wagon, you would surely just make sure that there isn't anything.
He's a multi-drop driver, so he's like in and out constantly. So your multi-drop drivers are your drivers who are employed to deliver parcels. They're under a lot of pressure for sometimes quite low pay. They quite often get paid per delivery. Having looked at the footage a few times, I think there's quite a lot of additional things that have sprung up now that we've noticed, where there's some more probing questions that he can ask the driver. If he comes back next week and goes, yeah, well, I got in, I put my seatbelt on, I checked my mirrors, I, checked that side, I've checked over my shoulder, then you can say, well, 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a lot of things to do in 3 seconds, isn't it? We'll see what it comes up with.
Yeah.
We're not going to be able to fully guess what he's going to say, but we can be prepared for it, can't we?
Yeah, we can have an idea of, it's going to be one of two options of...
If he says just jumped in and set off, then he's getting prosecuted.
Coming up, the pickup driver who hit a motorcyclist whilst resting in a lay-by on the A64 is brought in for questioning.
The worst case scenario is he's looking at serious injury by dangerous driving.
After a pickup truck hit a stationary motorcyclist on the A64, the suspect drivers arrive for an interview with traffic cop Mark Davey.
The worst case scenario is he's looking at serious injury by dangerous driving. Lower end would be a due care. If you guys have a seat.
With the driver under caution, any new information or inconsistencies could change the direction of Mark's investigation.
So you do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given evidence. What time had you gone to bed the night before? And how many sort of miles do you reckon you would have done that day? Close to 100. Did you fall asleep when you were driving? No? So, how has it occurred? It can be really, really hard at times because you'll see the devastation that's been caused. But it's just remembering that you have to remain professional. To summarise then, you say that your vision's obscured due to the sun, but the 4 witnesses that we've spoken to, none of them have said they encountered any issues with the sun giving them, say, tremendous glare. Looking at him, he's a normal guy. He's not gone out to hurt someone. And I suppose for him, and I suppose for any of us, that if we've driven into someone and we've hurt them, your mind's just going to go in overdrive and you'll start thinking what ifs. Is there anything you want to add? No? Okay. The time is 15:14 hours and the interview is now concluded.
Thank you, Mr. Davies.
Thank you.
Take care, you two. Have a nice weekend. Take it. So the driver's version of events is that the sun has obscured his vision as he's coming round, and due to the sun and his dirty windscreen, he's saying he's cleaned windscreen, and then on doing so, that's obviously blocked his view of the motorcycle. As a cop, you're kind of trained not to believe anything anyone tells you. So it's a plausible story, and yeah, the sun would have been over in that position at the time, but it either go to CPS or to the courts, and then it's decided then whether or not
you know, his version of events is true. I hope it's true for his sakes. If it's not, then he's got to live with that for the rest of his life.
While the driver waits for news about a possible prosecution, the Harley rider, Andrew Simister, is recovering at home. Andrew never saw the pickup truck approaching.
What I remember is I was looking down, doing up my coat. I remember this massive force of energy, and I was just thrown forward. And the next thing I remember, I'm waking up with my head, I think my head was actually on the A64, looking at these cars going past me. And I just had this most excruciating pain in my right leg. The next thing I remember, I'm waking up in a CT scanner or an MRI scanner in a hospital, screaming out in pain and being very frightened. The doctors wanted to save my leg. In the end, the third operation was the decision to have my leg amputated. And here's the love of my life, or after my wife. It's just a beauty. It's one of the nicest bikes I've got.
Boulevard Cruiser. It's a rock star bike.
My life has changed forever. My wife's life has changed forever. She's had to give up work. She is now my carer 100% of the time until I start to make some recovery where I may be able to start walking again. So one day, I'll be riding again. And we can ride out together again.
Yep.
Am I going to ride a motorbike again? I definitely am. My leg's not going to grow back, but I want my life to be the best possible life it can be. So I'm going to make the most of what I will get, you know, a bionic leg if I'm lucky. And the most important thing is I'm alive, and I'm going to take every day as a blessing that I am here.
As traffic cops, the reason why we exist is to reduce the number of fatal and serious road traffic collisions that occur on our roads.
I didn't join the job with the illusion that I wasn't going to see something horrible like serious road traffic collisions. It's my job, it's what I signed up for.
If you're engaging in any of those fatal 5, you are much more likely to be involved in a very bad crash.
Got amazing roads and they're there to be used, but everybody's vulnerable on there. So if we all just use them correctly and stick to the rules, then everybody should be able to enjoy them safely and all go home at the end of the day.
In this episode,
We're just getting out RTC at the moment. It's a vehicle that's gone into a pedestrian.
the man who was struck by an HGV is on a slow road to recovery and waiting for a hip replacement due to the collision and his age.
The driver's admitted that he didn't take all the care and steps that he could have taken before he set off.
The truck driver was fined £660 and received 8 points for driving without due care and attention.
You find it difficult to get a job as a HGV driver with points on your licence for that kind of offence. So there's quite far-reaching consequences for him as well.
The driver who flipped his lorry has made a full recovery.
There's no driver card in there, so it raises questions as to what the driver's been doing.
Despite Mike's suspicions, no further action was taken against the driver for any offences. And the driver of the pickup truck that allegedly hit a motorcyclist on the A64 was prosecuted for driving without due care and attention and received points on his licence. And with the help of a new prosthetic leg, biker Andrew is already back on the road.
Traffic cops are back new next Monday at 8. From skids on icy roads to dangerous overtaking, Dashcam is spying it all in motorway hell on the highway, brand new at 8 on Friday. And tonight, record temperatures are causing havoc in Barnsley A&E. Every second counts in Casualty 24/7. New next.